hopefully a quick video to go along with your cheat sheet for sculptgl. So first off, when you log on to that site, and that's on the cheat sheet, that login, this little X in the advertisements, because this is free. So we'll just get rid of them there. And I'm going to go across as many of these things quickly as possible. Let's see how fast I can do this. So the first thing to know is saving, exporting. So you want to save as OBJ. You could all save as STL, but remember to save every so often, because this program does not save it within itself. It is just a free online thing. So you may make sure you save. So I would go down and click Save OBJ every now and then. Print, don't worry about that. Scene, you can clear the scene. You get an OK. And you can put something back. You could add another object to it. You could delete the selected one, which is this one, or you could shift and select this, and they become kind of both highlighted, and you could then merge them if you wanted to. So then they would be one. And you could also delete selection, which deleted everything. And let's go back to adding a sphere back in. You could darken the thing, and it's highlighted already, and kind of standard opens up that way, that the object that is unselected is darkened. Like you notice when the cylinder was there, it was kind of unselected. Then you can show grid, which was this bottom thing down here, but and then mirror line is not selected when you come in, and that is where the symmetry is. If you go here, let's get rid of the line. You'll see that there's two dots. Over here there's symmetry, so if I turn that off, I only have one dot. So when I use the tools, they happen just on one side. If I have symmetry selected, they happen on both sides. And sometimes I like to see that line so I remember it's there. History, undo, redo, so you can go backward and forward. Background, you can pull in an image and load it in and have it behind the image, and you can select it to fill. If you're trying to put a smaller image in, I would unselect fill if you do that. Camera, leave that alone. Tablet pressure. If you're using a mouse, I just pull the tablet pressure all the way over. If you're using a tablet, play with it to get something. You might even play with it if you're using a mouse. Anyway, language, this and this, leave. You don't need to worry about those right now. Leave rendering alone for now. Leave topography alone for now. We'll just stick with what we got. So, tools, brushes. Brush is the first tool. And that's this red thing over here. So if I take this and bring it over here, on the piece, push down. Oh, I haven't. Okay. Step back, Joe. Navigation. So if I right click, sorry, that was not a right click. That was a, sorry, let's start with zoom, since my mouse wants to do zoom. If you slot the middle button back and forth, or if you have a roller, that will zoom. If you hold the right key, right mouse key, and move, rotate, and if you hold sorry, the option key down and right, that's the zoom again, and right, you can pan. All right, so panning is option, right-clicking mouse by itself. I need a new mouse. Right-clicking mouse and rotating, you can rotate around it, and if your mouse lets you, carefully zoom in and out. Carefully. So that's navigating around the scene. So if I left click with the tool, which is right now brush, this sort of builds it up. And I can change the radius, so I can work larger, and also the intensity, so I could work heavier. And if we go smaller and heavier, you get a different type of thing going on. If you hold the shift key down in many of these, it changes that brush, that tool, to a smooth, so then I can go back and smooth, which is nice because you just let off of it, build, and you're like, okay, I want to adjust that, go back and forth. Key under that is inflate. Oops, gotta hit it. So that kind of pushes it up from underneath, especially if you have a big radius, and it kind of bulges things out. Underneath that is twist. I don't know if I would use twist a lot for sculpting, but it's kind of cute. Smooth, we already kind of looked at. You can set the key to just smooth, or you can hit shift to get that. Flatten, kind of flattens things out. And again, you can affect the radius and the intensity of the tool. Pinch. Hey, the zoom tool actually works. Especially on ridges, I find that it kind of like I can sharpen an edge. It's very kind of subtle. I'm getting a kind of harder edge there. So it's like pinching up the clay. If you were thinking you took clay with your fingers and pinched it, made a kind of a ridge. Anyway, pinch. Good for little details. Oh, and remember, if we have it off symmetry, change it to a different crease. If we have it off symmetry, this is crease. It's only doing it on the one side. If I put symmetry back on, we go back to that. I would suggest you wait till you have the piece mostly done before you play with symmetry. Let's go ahead, and if we make the radius bigger, you can see how that dramatically is going to change what this tool is doing. So again, your radius and your intensity, and the negative and the positive. So if I hit N, it does something different. Hit N again, it puts it back to what it was. But we used to doing so. Don't worry about the thin vortex. Sorry. Don't worry. We can go to textures some other time. Drag is sort of a different type of tool, so I can actually dramatically change the shape with drag. Same thing with, well, there's paint. We'll skip paint. Move is a similar type of tool, although it affects, when you're using move with two things that have been merged together, it affects them differently as opposed to other tools. So if you were to take and add a cylinder in here and shift and merge most of the other tools, even drag, which is a little bit like, kind of works them together, or if you had brush, they're one thing. If you go to move, suddenly it acts different again. So that seems to be the one thing that pops out about move to me. Masking is laying on a mask, so that now if you're now that that's on there, when you use another tool, it skips over, it won't affect that one. If you I forgot the name of it, hold outside of it, or you hold control, sorry, get this right, hold control and left click outside of it, it flips, or it flips it. So now, say if you took a tool, even like drag, and started dragging, it's just going to affect that area. It won't affect the area around it, so you get a kind of a sharp transition, or harsh transition. I don't know what this is. Don't forget, we always have the undo tool. And, so if you wanted, again, that was control, and then left click outside of it. It changes that. If you hit the N key, now, whoops, I gotta change that when you're back to masking. Right now it's making it darker again. If I hit the N key, I can erase the mask. Although I've got so much mask right now, I'm going to clear scene, OK, add sphere. All right, so that was most of the tools. Local scale is sort of, it changes. You slide and it changes. I haven't figured out why I would want to use this, but maybe you'll come up with something. Transform, that's a very different tool. So I'm going to zoom out so you can see what's going on here. So you can pull on the arrows and move them up and down, and if you're putting things together, this can help to arrange it, but you can also really, any of those directions you can move it. If these circles here, we can tilt the orange circle on the outer side. You can scale it all in one direction, all in every direction. The square boxes, cubes, you can scale it in other directions. So you can make it very, so using this and merging shapes together, you can build a form and then go back and sculpt in between them. And of course, don't forget to save. It usually just saves it and it gives it your mesh with the name, with number, give the number of them. Anyway, so that's a basic tools that are in sculptgl.